Hola a todos. Bienvenidos a Los Nietos. So this is Los Nietos, which is between Los Alcázeres and Cartagena on the N332. Another one of these little towns that are easily missed. It's quite a big built up area. There's a lot of houses in this town. A little Spar Express over there. Right on the corner here you've got the Panaderia and Confiteria Isabel. So this is bakers and confectioners, so all your bread, cakes, etc. What I'm going to do is just walk along the road here, because I know this takes us into the town centre, if you want to call it that. I've ridden through here loads of times on my bike. And I've driven through in the car. Sometimes you get fed up just using the motorway and take to the back roads to see what catches your eye. So we'll just have a walk through the main part of this town. I know there's a few shops and things in it, but I don't know what actually is here. So here we go. Just round the corner. We've got little, probably the main town square, I would say. We'll just cross over. And as always, I'll have a walk through the town and then we'll come back along the bit next to the Mar Menor. So there's a big bar restaurant there at the end. In fact, I missed that sign. That sign was actually probably quite a useful sign. Little bar there, Par Pizzeria, El Canario. Another one, sadly it doesn't look like it's opened at the minute. But yeah, so I'll just go back to this sign, so sorry about that. Should have seen that on the way in. So yeah, that little sign on the post there showing us that the church is that way, health centre, Club Nautico and La Manga, all that way. So we're just going to walk along there and see. I would say the property here can't be that expensive. It's got to be cheaper, because I have, in all my years of watching A Place in the Sun, I have never heard anyone mention Los Nietos. Have you? Have you heard Los Nietos being mentioned on A Place in the Sun? Or any of these sort of homes in the sun kind of programmes? I've never heard Los Nietos be mentioned. So here we go, Bar de Pepe. Just one of the typical, a couple of little seats outside like that. Bits inside. Great little Spanish bars there. It's always interesting when you pop in there just for a quick drink when you're out and about on the bike, you know, come for a half pint of beer. And you try your best to have a conversation with the locals, and it's really, really funny, because when you come off the beaten track like this, virtually no one speaks any English. And although my Spanish is getting better, it's nowhere near good enough to be holding a conversation with a Spanish guy who's had a couple of beers. But anyway, there's another little bar there, Mar Menor. Breakfast, hola, buenas, buenas. No, I'll block you out. Okay, I'll take you out. Yeah, so people don't like getting recorded. They don't want their faces in, because they probably shouldn't be here. Maybe that's just the cynic in me. But yeah, so just little houses along that way. Little property shop. Looks closed, so I'm not going to bother looking at it because it's probably well out of date. So you'll see these guys in the video. Now I don't know what they think is going to happen. How could you possibly, somebody recognise them in a video from a random Scotsman walking about little towns and villages? They actually draw attention to themselves. So anyway, they're staying in. So that looks like a little shop that sells various bits and bobs. But there's nothing much up here actually. Although it's a sizable town, it doesn't really have that much facilities going on for it, and I know that if I just go up there to the left, I'm not going to go up, that takes you through the town and out along towards Cartagena and Cabo de Palos and a few other little places. So we'll just walk down along the seafront. I often wonder what it is with these people who scream and yell about being on a video. Have you got a thought on it? Have you any thoughts on it? Why do people get so animated and so annoyed about being on a video? I can see the point if we all walked around with a nameplate on, giving all our name and all our personal details so you could be identified, but the chances of them being identified through social media or whatever has got to be very slim. But having said that, do you know these guys? Do you know why they're getting so annoyed? Why are they getting so wound up about me randomly capturing them on video as I walk through these towns? Are they wanted by Interpol? Are they international criminals? Or are they just scroungers that shouldn't be here? If you know, let me know in the comments. Maybe we'll do a bit of good and expose some of these guys, who knows? They do make me chuckle, I've got to say. Right, so what else? What have I got down here? Let me turn the camera around. So it doesn't look to be much happening along there. There's a wee alley, and there is, looks like a couple of bars along the end there. So let's cut through here and see what's going on. So what we've got here is another great little walkway alongside the Mar Menor. You probably can't see it on the video, but that's Club Náutico Los Nietos. So that's another marina there, which is very busy. They're all very busy, these marinas. But as I've said before in other videos, I think it's quite sad the number of boats you see that look as though they've been left and abandoned, never to be used again. It is a shame. Anyway, we'll walk back along here. So a couple of little beachfront houses again, tiny little houses. Don't know if they're still being used or not. That one certainly looks like it's being used. Got all these little sculptures alongside seahorses. So seahorse is the emblem of the Mar Menor. So I wonder if anybody else will shout at me on the way. I always just tell them that I'll not show their faces and I'll blur them out, but I'm not going to bother. Why should I? Never know, maybe they'll hunt me down. Maybe they have a set of special skills that'll allow them to find me. Just up there, there's another little shop and a baker's. A couple of things happening up there. Hola, buenos días. So yeah, people just sitting in the shade, which is great. Quite a Spanish thing to sit in the shade. So not an awful lot more along there, so I'll just cut up through here. This is me back to the wee square. So Daniels and Company, a Guinness sign that's not open. Then we've got this little taparia, Jacinto y Elena. And then this is us back to where we started. So just a few little bars and restaurants here in the square. And not much more. Club de Personas Mayores So that's a club for old people, isn't it? Which is great. Rather than sitting at home on their own, looking out the windows, they can come and spend some time with people. And I'm not going to look in too much, but you know, I've seen people sitting playing chess, people sitting playing drafts, a couple of women just sitting having a blether. So, you know, places for people to come, and because the weather's so nice, they can actually get out and do it. So that's all good stuff. So that's a quick look at Los Nietos. The little bars and restaurants look a nice place to be. Just avoid the angry illegal immigrants. They'll get quite vocal. But you're okay as long as you've not got a camera. The minute you have a camera, a lot of them get a wee bit upset. So I'm just going to make my way back round to the bike. And then I think it's time that I found myself a nice cold beer somewhere. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know in the comments if you did. Make sure you take time to click on like and subscribe, and we'll keep the channel growing for you. And we'll see you all on the next video. Hasta luego.